Looking ahead to next week for BTC, Brad, what can you tell us about anything that you're looking at in the markets? Any sense of what direction we may be going? If we might have a breakout above 60,000, that's what everyone wants to know.
Well, I mean, to Galen's point, the big driver of Bitcoin is still, big picture is the institutional adoption story. Big money coming in from Wall Street, and so that's going to be the big driver. In terms of within the crypto markets, like I said, we're in this altcoin season. And, every time you get into this altcoin season, there's some speculation on, is this time different? Is Bitcoin going to come back? It usually does. It always has before it, regained the leadership. But, that's the expectation at some point. The altcoin rally, Ether, everything like that people will start to take profits and they'll rotate back into Bitcoin, and that would take Bitcoin prices higher. But we're not seeing that, that warm spring yet for Bitcoin. So, but anyway, analysts saying if we go above 60,000, we're here at 58. If we go above 60, we may make another run towards that all-time high of around 65, or if we go lower, we could see 53 again.
Yeah, and I've heard many predictions of 100,000 by the summer, so we'll see about that. Christy, also, a lot of people are looking forward to Saturday Night Live. Elon Musk will be hosting, and he's the father of Doge, so we're looking at the price of Doge. And what does that mean, to the price of BTC at the same time?
Yeah. He's not so much the father of Doge as the godfather at the moment. I think he's calling himself the CEO of Doge.
Uncle of Doge,
and
maybe.
As far as the price of Bitcoin is concerned, whatever. That's not gonna. It doesn't have an effect on the price so much of Bitcoin. What is interesting about this, though, is that all of the hype that's happening around Dogecoin is getting people interested in crypto, and that's good. On the other hand, there are a lot of other sides to it that I think that new people to Bitcoin need to make sure that they're being careful, not new to Bitcoin, but new to crypto and Dogecoin, really should be taking into consideration before they start sinking money into it. And I'm not here to diss Dogecoin or anything like that. I think it's adorable. But despite its popularity and soaring price and celebrity endorsements, there are risks associated with it. One of them, I think, as somebody who looks at the tech, is the lack of tech development. It was created, like Bitcoin, a lot of volunteers working on it, but not in the case of Bitcoin, a lot of volunteers. You got a few people who are maintaining the code, not that many, infrequently. Compared to Bitcoin, hardly any at all. The security of the network isn't nearly as robust as what you'll find on Bitcoin. And the amount of money concentrated into the amount of Dogecoin concentrated in very few wallets has, I think, a really detrimental outlook for its own price, because all it would take is one big whale to dump their bags, and you're going to see a massive price dump. That is not the case with Bitcoin, where it's much more spread out that way. And I think that it's fun to play with, but as you'll read coming ahead this weekend on CoinDesk, there are some really good articles that explain you need to be doing your research, never put in more than you can afford to lose, and be prepared for things to go south. So really buyer beware, especially when it comes to a meme coin. If it's started as a joke, it could very well end as a joke.
Yeah. Elon Musk, he's done very good things for Bitcoin in terms of Tesla buying $1.5 billion and putting a Bitcoin on their balance sheet. But his praise of Doge is really confusing people, I think, and many don't realize that it's a joke. I get so many questions on Doge, and it just has no fundamentals. But Galen, on the other hand, what are you looking ahead for? What are you looking forward to in the week ahead?
I think, same thing we've been talking about here is when do we see a sense of kind of a bit of regime change for Bitcoin? Are we going to sort of stay in this band that Bitcoin's been in terms of price, or do we enter a new phase of the market? I think what happens with assets like, Doge or Ether Classic, interesting to watch week to week, but really what's fundamental here in the market is what's happening with Ethereum. Continue to be astonished by the run that Ethereum has put up so far this year. Was looking at a table going back through to this time last year, pulling together some sample data for a potential client, and just was like, wait a minute, that's a $200 number there. It's kind of, it's funny how these things sort of sink in and you realize how fast things have changed. And so, I think, can we continue to see Ether go on the run that it's been on? Will it cool down? That's a signal that maybe might tell you kind of whether we're entering a different phase with Bitcoin or not.